So for me, this story that is going on right now with Teralta and Los Amores, no way that people that own there didn't carry out the due diligence.
What do you think is going to happen? Because this isn't very confident for people to be investing into a country where this could happen, right? So
Of course.
there's so many different opinions online, but I wanted to hear yours. What do you think? Have you, in your many years of doing law, have you seen something like this, like on this scale happen?
No. Never. Then I would say, boy, you're screwed. But these condominiums.
Friends, before we jump into the interview, I just wanted to share a quick disclaimer. Please remember that the information shared in this video, which features a conversation with my friend and practicing real estate attorney in Jalisco in Nayarit, licenciada Paulina Galindo Ochoa, is for information purposes only. While we discuss topics such as the buying process and current events in Bucerias, Nayarit, this video is not intended to be a substitute for legal advice, nor does it constitute legal advice. We are simply having a conversation and may not have all the facts about specific developments or situations. For any legal concerns, please consult with a qualified attorney who can provide advice tailored to your specific circumstances. And now let's jump into this juicy interview.
Now, welcome to my fabulous friend, Paulina, who is a lawyer here in Bahia de Banderas. But I'll let Paulina introduce herself. Paulina, I've known you for 5 years now. How long have you been around? How long have you done law? All the things.
Well, I finished law school in 98.
Okay.
Last century.
You do not, yeah, 1978.
Right? I moved to Vallarta in 2000, and I got a big break working for Punta Mita Properties within the Punta Mita development. And that was basically my school. That's where I learned how to make fideicomisos, assignment of rights, trust for Americans or Canadians that don't know what a fideicomiso is a legal way for people that were not born in Mexico to own property. And this is a really secure legal figure, because a bank is involved, a permit from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is involved. So it's super, super safe for people to own this way. Plus, it's a way, it's like like trust works like a last testament and will in Canada or in the US. So you can appoint as many substitute beneficiaries as you want, right? With different percentages. And the trust will always prevail, even though if you buy something, you get a trust today, and then tomorrow you go back home and you grant a will, the trust will prevail. So that's something important for people to know.
That is good to know. I did not know that.
Yeah, well, now you know.
Now I do. That's why we're here.
Yeah, so some people then come back and say, I want to change my substitute beneficiaries. And I'm like, oh my God, what did they do to be able to, to get kicked out of the trust? But anyway, so this is a really secure way to own property. And owning property implies doing a due diligence prior to people doing anything, even putting the initial deposit or the down payment in escrow. The first thing that we do as attorneys is carry out the due diligence. Right. And that basically means, sorry, a plane is flying over me. And that implies getting a no-lien certificate from the public registry of whatever plaza is involved. I work with the public registry in Puerto Vallarta and in Bahia de Banderas, being either Bucerias or down the road in Las Varas or Compostela. So we carry out due diligences so that we can transfer properties to people and they can own it in a legal way so that no skeletons are in the closet. So for me, this story that is going on right now with Teralta and Los Amores and developments in Bucerias is just a way of money out of thin air. There is no way that people that own there didn't carry out the due diligence.
And now, so many at once, right? Like that's what.
So many at once, like the whole condominium.
Mm-hmm.
The whole condominium,
Like
either
over
in
2,000
Los
people.
Amores or Teralta or the businesses around there.
Yeah. And
it's
let's
just
be honest here, this isn't against foreigners owning anything, because
no,
Mexican families,
no.
what do you think is going to happen? Because this isn't very confident for people to be investing into a country where this could happen, right? So
Of course.
there's so many different opinions online, but I wanted to hear yours. What do you think? Do you think they even have a chance, or like, what are your thoughts?
Of course, we have the amparo suit,
Uh-huh.
which is equiparable to the habeas corpus suit in either the United States or Canada, right?
Mhm.
So we have a way of defending ourselves from the government or from whatever the government tries to pull on us.
Okay.
The tricky part now is that the judges are going to change, right?
Because of
But
this.
if people just get together, because together they will be strong, right?
Right.
So all the condominium owners, either in Teralta or in Los Amores, or right now I just heard in Aqua down by the beach,
Okay.
they have to get together and just place an amparo lawsuit, because the government then has to prove them wrong.
Right.
And every single owner has their deed.
Right.
And has their deed stamped and recorded before the public registry and before Catastro, which is the taxing authorities that every year collects like the annual property tax from people, right?
Right.
So if it wasn't legal, then how come we have all been paying property taxes?
Exactly.
And we all pay the notary so that he attests the deed, and he goes to the bank and he submits the papers to the bank so that the bank signs, and then we record it before the public registry and Catastro.
Right.
That can't happen if it's illegal.
Exactly.
If it were illegal, then we need to go get all the notaries involved, all the people in the public registry, all the people in Catastro. So another plane is coming.
Oh, that's okay. You are fairly certain that if the owners come together and they form the amparo together, it'll all be all right. Have you, in your many years of doing law, have you seen something like this, like on this scale, happen?
No, never.
Having someone, and this has always been my gut feel, like after talking to you, after being in Mexico for 5 years, it's very important to have someone on your side who's been around. Past history of the land was, you could at least then kind of raise some red flags and be like, okay, well, before we even go in to check the documents, hey, like this doesn't make any sense. So it's important having someone who has been around,
of course,
and knows people.
Many foreigners get ripped off because they want to buy big parcels in Ejido land. I'm not saying that you can't own Ejido. Of course you can. As a foreigner, of course you can. If the owner has a property title that's duly recorded before the public registry. Bye.
I can't even hear anything. It's just you.
Oh, okay,
perfect.
We
can't even hear nothing here.
I'm the only one that hears it. Yeah. Okay, perfect. So people can own Ejido if the owner has a property title duly recorded before the public registry. That title can then go form a trust or an escritura, depending where the buyer is from, right? But you can, as a foreigner, you cannot own more than X amount of square meters. And I have seen many situations where people buy through a prestanombres, and even the agents say, oh no, it's totally secure, just get a Mexican friend that can be your prestanombres, and then you can. What if the Mexican friend decides to go sell the $1 million property once you've built it?
Yeah.
Because the title is in my name, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So if we were faced on that particular matter, then I would say, boy, you're screwed. But these condominiums, even if they were Ejido land, they were bought by Mexican developers.
Right.
The Mexican developers pay the municipality the transfer tax, the acquisition tax, and the public registry. And they were allowed to build those condominiums because they got construction licenses and they got permits to be able to build those condominiums.
Exactly.
How long have those condominiums been there?
Over 20 years. Yes. Well, the Teralta 1 and 2. Yeah.
Exactly. And maybe Los Amores as well, because I remember that I was looking at buying at Los Amores and I didn't have a baby then. Right? And my eldest son is 17 years old.
Yeah. So 20 years. Yeah.
No? So I would tell every condominium owner over at Los Amores and Teralta and in Bucerias or anywhere in particular to please breathe and get a good attorney that does amparo suits, and I'm sure that they will win.
Yeah.
Because the current government doesn't have a foot to stand on.
Right.
And even if they did, those things have probably even prescribed by now.
Oh,
right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, so see, that's interesting. This is why I wanted to ask you all these questions, because online, of course, we're going to hear all the opinions.
And people will get scared because people will believe anything that they hear on YouTube or in the TV, right?
Exactly. So how would you go about finding a good attorney, Paulina, who can help in this? Do you guys do this? Does your firm do
My
it?
firm has 2 attorneys that can handle amparo suits.
Okay.
I don't get involved in lawsuits because I get so attached that I will probably die with my liver all cracked up, you know? So I just like to do the pretty things, the fun things, which is like closing a sale or doing a due diligence and being able to tell the inversionist, this paper is cool. You can buy here because I checked it.
Yeah.
You know, we check in the US, there is this thing called title policy or title insurance.
Yes.
In Mexico, it's a ripoff, right? Because these companies just go to the public registry and request like a past history of the place and a low lien certificate, but they need to be able to issue this title insurance. Now they go also to Catastro and request a back history of payments made, right? So that there are no debts in the land that you want to buy or real estate that you want to buy. This is what the title company gets. And they don't even come. They get people like me, or they used to get people like me to go to the public registry or to Catastro to get these papers. Most companies are not even in Mexico.
Right.
They work from abroad, right? They would get all the owners to get one single attorney to work for all the owners.
Right.
So imagine the force that this amparo suit would get.
So what I'm hearing, this is really good information, because what I'm hearing, again, from hearsay and YouTube, is people are going individually and getting their amparos. And they're going...
That's fine as well.
It's okay.
That's fine as well.
Okay.
But remember that the condominium, the authority of the condominium is the HOA, right? The Asociación de Condóminos. The Asociación de Condóminos is the highest authority in the condominium.
Right.
So if the Asociación de Condóminos got an amparo for the whole condominium, but people can go ahead and get individual amparos as well. And if many people get the same amparo, then this will be law.
Right.
Because this is a way that law is carried out.
Exactly. So for those who are really worried, and rightfully so, I think, well, for me personally, because I own property in the Bay, I think this is a really good conversation, because I think sometimes online with comments that people make, it makes it feel like Mexico is a wild, wild west, and it's not. It is not a wild, wild west. Yes, there are things.
But don't tell people, because they will flock to Mexico and they will want to buy the whole Mexico.
Exactly. In the end, when these kinds of lawsuits do turn out, and it does show that the government can't just go and take your land away, which, I know it's happened in Nuevo as well in the whenever they started this Mega Operativo Nuevo Nayarit, that, people did go through hell and they had to fight for their property. But in the end, now the precedent has been set, and, people understand that the government can't just take away your land, right? It's just...
No. And if you go down the road in Nuevo Vallarta or now Nuevo Nayarit, you will see many big parcels with a huge sign from the government saying this has been seized.
I've heard there was many issues near Aria and what's that other one, the big one that they're building, and it's been building for 5 years.
The one that used to be stopped for a long time, I believe it's Amancay.
That's the one. Yeah, that's the one. And so it's kind of moving along right now, but anybody who asks me about it, I always tell them you must check with a lawyer before you even start. And personally, I would stay away. I would like to stay away from that area. It's just
And don't put money down, people. Don't put money down. If you don't hire an attorney, a real estate attorney, please don't put money down, and do not go into an operation or a real estate transaction without opening escrow. Believe me, those 700 or whatever the escrow fee is will give you peace of mind.
Yeah.
Because many people don't want to pay the escrow fee and they rather pay directly to the owner. And that's like a huge, don't do that.
Don't do that, guys.
Don't do that. Yeah, don't do that. Pay an attorney. I mean, if you're going to spend money on real estate in Mexico, this is not country, this is not your language, and it's certainly not your law.
Yeah.
The other way around. So please get an attorney and please open escrow.
Yeah. And so if they're interested in connecting with you, Paulina, can you tell us a little bit about your firm? I'm going to add all of the contacts underneath the video. So, you know, if you are interested, absolutely.
Thank you. Well, we have an office in Plaza Coba in Puerto Vallarta. And we carry out due diligences. We've been doing, as I tell you, Punta Mita was my school, right? So I've been doing this since 2003, probably.
Yeah.
And I am partners with attorneys that litigate, because I don't do that. Also with criminal attorneys.
Okay.
So my firm would be able to help anyone looking to buy or to sell.
Okay.
Now, I'm going to give you a tip for free. And I'm sure that all the attorneys that are looking at this will hate me forever, but I don't care. People that buy, foreigners that buy, have to go back to their country, to the Mexican consulate, and get your residency. Remember that I told you this when you bought?
Yep.
And then when you get your visa from the consulate, come back to Vallarta or to Banderas Bay, get in touch with me, and my accountant, which is fabulous, will help you get that visa converted into a permanent or a temporary residency, whatever you applied for. Then you get your RFC, and you get it in all your utility bills, so that when you sell, you don't have to pay 35 capital gains tax. For us, closing coordinators and attorneys, it's perfect that people sell as tourists, because the payment of the capital gains is made to the government, right?
Yeah.
But this is not our money. This is your money that you worked for. So do your homework and just be vigilant about this, and just get the papers that will allow you to be legal in Mexico.
Yeah.
Or in any other country. Just follow whatever the country that you are investing rules, right? So that you are safe.
Yeah. Absolutely. And listen to the people who've been around, you guys. This is why I consider myself very lucky that I met Paulina the first year we got here. And I learned a lot from her. And that's why
I remember that you gave us shit when we met, you know, you asked all the questions because you're educated, right? Because you used to do this in Canada. So you are educated and you asked all the correct questions.
Thank you.
Right?
Yes. And you answered them honestly, which I'm going to make this point too. And it's very important who you choose to work with here in the Bay, because there are people who are dishonest, and that's just the truth. Right. And there are people like they'll look out for their best interest, where like with Paulina, it's completely opposite. Like she'll tell you it how it is. She will not hold back, and you either will want to work with her or not. And I love that, because for 5 years, she's been the go-to.
Yeah, I don't sugarcoat things. That's for sure.
Yeah. And you do your best to save people money. And that's what this business is all about, right? It's all about loyalty and referrals, because once you do right by one person, they will tell everyone about it, right?
Exactly. And be mindful which notary you work with.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because not all of them are saints, and not all of them are looking at your best interest.
Mm-hmm.
Being a notary is a huge responsibility in Mexico. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Notaries are experts at law,
Mm-hmm.
and they have a patent that the government gives them,
Mm-hmm.
because they are like this with the fiscal authorities.
Right.
Right. So the notary won't do your due diligence. The notary will attest what you're doing. So
Yeah.
you have to really be mindful of which notary you use.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I remember you saying that to me. So again, you guys, if you are interested in getting more information, or if you are in the process of buying, Paulina's contacts will be in the description. Make sure you reach out to her for whatever reason. If you guys need help with this Buceria situation, or if you are buying and need legal advice, she should be your go-to. So I guess for the last of this, what's your outlook on this? Do you think this will affect consumer confidence? Like, what are your thoughts about that?
For sure it will affect it, right? But people, if you're really interested in coming and investing in Banderas Bay,
Mm-hmm.
just do your due diligence,
Mm-hmm.
and make sure that you get a good attorney,
Mm-hmm.
make sure that you get a good agent, because most agents will work for their commission, not for your best interest.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So make sure that you get a good team.
Mm-hmm.
Reach out to Elena, and it's not because I want you to call me or I want to get more business. For sure, you've sent me a lot of business, and I thank you for that. Bless your heart. But do get a good attorney, and feel I'm most of the times I work as an attorney, but I become friends of people, right? Because I do have their best interest in hand, and I know that if I do a good job and they are confident in me, they will have an insider in the country that will be able to help them in any way that I can. No, recommend them to a nice restaurant, or a good hairdresser, or a good doctor, or homeopath, or whatever. So it's not, my job is not only to close your deal, but to make you feel welcome in our little piece of paradise, right?
Yes. Absolutely. So I guess we can like sum it up in the way that if you work with the right people, like things will always happen. And that's just life anywhere, whether you're Mexico, Canada, US, doesn't matter. And it's just having the right people by your side will make the process so much more easier and smoother. And if something was to go wrong, you have someone to fall on to. And I guess the final thought for me would be Mexico is not a wild, wild west if you do things right. But shit like this can happen. And
Yeah, you can get screwed. Yeah. Big time.
Exactly.
For
Yeah,
sure.
you need to be honest with yourself about that and just be like, okay, knowing all of these things, am I willing to do it? For me, it's 1,000% yes, right? But for others, it might not be.
Of course. And just when you meet the attorney, listen to your stomach.
Yes, that's a really good one. Listen to your gut, turn off the news, and like really just make sure you have all the paperwork and get the opinions of the people who know what's going on.
Yeah, you can go to the public registry yourself and just request like a back history of 25 years or 50 years or whatever years.
Yeah.
No, that's your title policy.
Yeah.
The public registry is your title policy.
Yeah. Amazing. Thank you so much, my darling. It was a pleasure to have you.
My pleasure. The pleasure was all mine. And you're as beautiful as I remember you.
Oh, and so are you, my love. I'm going to turn off the recording now.